And welcome to the Flawless Empire Rock Solid official team hangout Tuesday night. We have an awesome speaker tonight. We have Coach Haley Hendel. She's going to talk about inviting. So Courtney and I are just going to quickly talk about some housekeeping stuff. On our new coach call, we were talking about pumpkin spice. So as you know, pumpkin spice not sold out yet. They still have some, but we do have a relaunch next month. They're going to have a whole other launch of it. So if you haven't gotten your pumpkin spice yet, definitely get some. You're going to wish in a couple months you still had some. And then we also want to talk a little bit about the work. I'm going to let Courtney talk about that. Go ahead.
So the work is coming on 9/30. It's being launched. And when it does launch, it's not going into like this pre-launch phase where our other programs have, where you paid for it, you unlock it, and then it takes time before it loads. They're all going to be loaded on 9/30. So the whole program will be there for you. It's not like slowly unlocking. This month, anybody who purchases a challenge pack is going to get a completion pack that's over. Well, was there a stipulation on the cost of the challenge, of the completion pack, or any completion pack? I think it's any completion pack. I'll double check that. But they're going to get a $10 coupon to purchase the work. And the reason, there's a couple reasons why. One, we don't want people waiting until the end of September to get engaged. If you have people that want the work and they're waiting until the 30th to purchase it, there's no need to do that. They can order it now and they'll get it for $10, which is highly discounted. The reason being, you can get them started now, like get them started with Sean Week or, other programs that are going to be similar to the work. So they're not just like sitting stagnant waiting to get started. So that is, that's one of the things there. But the other piece that's really important is that I know when we have all these launches like back to back to back, and so many of us are knee deep in Morning Meltdown and like the work is coming out, you guys stay focused on what you're doing. Just because the work is launching doesn't mean that has to be day one for you. If that's the program you're going to do next, the work might not be the next program for you. That doesn't mean you can't share about it and that you can't talk about it. You guys, as coaches, our toolbox is big. It doesn't mean that every tool in there is for us. And it doesn't mean that every tool in there is for the customer you're talking to. We share the resources that we have because there might be somebody who watches you on your stories every day or is in your network or in your challenge group that they see the work and they're like, that's what I've been waiting for. So you can't wait for your journey to start to share about it. So for example, like when Size and Country Heat and those programs came out, I'm not a dancer. That doesn't mean I didn't advertise and talk about it, because I have a lot of customers that is their thing. Lower impact dance programs are their jam. I have women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that have had these incredible transformations with Country Heat, which is not a program I've ever done from start to finish or probably ever will. That's not what I show on my stories every day, but that doesn't mean that we can't speak to the diverse group of women that we have. So when you're talking about the work and sharing about it, talk about, who it's for, talk about, who, like the type of workout that it's going to be. And then as transformations come in, you share people's stories. So for me, when somebody asks about PIO, I automatically go to my team page. I pull up the transformations of the women who PIO was their transformation story, and I share their story. I don't share my story. I don't have a PIO transformation. It's not my thing. That doesn't mean it's not Sarah's thing or Caitlin's thing, right? So stay focused on what you're doing. Don't try to rush your way through Morning Meltdown if it doesn't make sense. Like I know some people started Morning Meltdown with the 60-day calendar in mind so that they could finish in time for the work. That's great. Stick to it. But don't rush through Morning Meltdown because the work is coming in 3 weeks. And don't ditch Morning Meltdown because the work is coming in 3 weeks. If Morning Meltdown is something that's really speaking to you and you're enjoying, right? Like stay to the course and start the work when you're done. So I was just having this conversation with a couple of my coaches today because they were feeling really overwhelmed with all the things. Again, you guys, how blessed are we to have a company that is constantly putting out new content and new things to reach more people? That's our job, is to reach more people. And so if we only have 3 programs, we're reaching a very small group of people, right? When we launch the work, we're speaking to a different demographic than Morning Meltdown is. Like this is not to say that people that are doing Morning Meltdown won't love the work, but it's not the same level of fitness. I mean, the work is very high impact, a lot of plyometrics, very athlete centered. Morning Meltdown has a variety of a lot of different things going on with it. So keeping in mind when you're speaking about it. So I just wanted you guys to stay focused and not get distracted because there's another launch, and not disengage either because you feel overwhelmed. Sit down with your calendars, map out a plan. What are you committed to throughout the end of the year? Continue to show up and share your journey, and then continue to share your teammates' journeys and what they're doing. And then talk about what's on the horizon, because you never know who needs to hear what you're about to share.
I love that. And what Missy just said in the comments about the work being great for our current challengers, especially for their high school kids, their athletic children. Like, could you imagine these programs as a kid? If you're an athlete, if you had these in your house, this would be the perfect program for them to gear up over the winter, to get ready for their spring sport, just to enhance what they're doing rather than their parents paying for it. You know, every kid nowadays is paying for extra training, and here they have it in their Beachbody On Demand at their house. Talk about how you wish you had it as a kid if you're an athlete, if that's your audience. I mean, I talk about hydrate all the time because the only things my kids drink are water or hydrate. That's it. So yeah, and I love what Courtney was saying too. If you haven't listened to Tanya this week, she talked about staying the course, blinders on. If you're doing Morning Meltdown 100, like finish it, finish the program. If there's a few workouts that you don't like in there, skip them or double up, or, you know, don't just stop because the work is going to be there forever, right? It's not going anywhere. It's coming out. Do it when you're ready. Do a couple programs at a time if you want to play around. I'm still doing Lift 4 with my husband just because we love doing that program together. But I'm doing Morning Meltdown 100. Am I loving Morning Meltdown 100? 100%? No, but I'm doing it. All right. Any other housekeeping stuff that we have? That was it, right? Pumpkin spice, the work.
Yeah. And so Lori and I have a couple trainings coming up in the next couple days. One is, and I'm not sure if they're combined or they're going to be separate, but we will be learning all the inside information about the work. So we'll share that with you. But Jenny, with the explicit language, there will be an edited version. So it'll be like a radio edit of a song. So if there is a swear word, it'll just go quiet. So, there is that. And I think that the way they advertise it is like highly exaggerated for how much he really does swear, is also what I heard. So
good question though. That's a really good question.
It is. I mean, especially if you're talking about promoting it to families, right? And like here you are selling these women programs to help their children condition for like spring ball. They're being cussed at in the basement.
Oh, and I wonder which words he's actually using, because some are worse than the other. Like,
yeah.
All right, so we've got a really great speaker. We have Coach Haley Hendel on the call tonight, and she is one of my personally sponsored coaches. And I'm just going to tell you how we met. I met Haley when she was about 3. I could be her mom. But we lived on the same block when I lived in Atlanta, and life goes on, and I stayed in touch with her mom, and long story short, here she is. She joined a challenge group. She's rocking her business. She is a 2-star diamond coach, I think 3-star qualifying, already premier for next year. She's really taken like a leap in the past like year and a half and really just started rocking her business. And tonight she's going to talk about the vital behavior that so many of us are the most afraid of. And I think it's the one vital behavior that once you start doing it, your business explodes. And that's probably what happened to Haley. But I'm going to let Haley take over, and I'm going to mute myself, but let her chat. And if you have any questions for her as they come up as she's talking, put them in the chat. But take it away, Haley.
Awesome. I'm so excited to share with you guys tonight because, like Lori said, inviting was something that I really struggled with. But once I got over myself and started doing it, I just had this massive epiphany. And I'm like, why did I hold out on doing that for so long? So before I get started talking about inviting, I just wanted to reinforce what Lori just said. If you have any questions or I really want to know, like, what is your biggest struggle when it comes to inviting? So put it in the chat box. just so I can look back on it afterwards and make sure that if I didn't touch on any of those points, that I can kind of go back and answer questions and help you guys out the best way that I can. So again, I'm so excited to talk about inviting because I really did struggle with this for a long time. And it wasn't necessarily the idea of inviting that scared me, but it was like knowing what to say or how to not come off salesy, So a little bit of backstory. When I first started coaching, I was a full-time college student, and not many college students were into network marketing. And again, I really didn't know what to say, how to promote this, because I really wasn't in it at the time for the business. When I first signed up, I started my journey the same way a lot of other coaches do, being a discount coach, a VIP member, and that was awesome. My journey started off with just helping myself. I really needed something while I was in school because I had fallen into a very negative routine with my health and my fitness, and I was working out for like 2+ hours a day. I would hardly eat in between classes, and then I would go out and drink and eat cookout and fast food, and I just felt terrible. And I may have looked fine on the outside, like I was doing great in school and everything seemed to be like hunky-dory, but I was really struggling on the inside, and I didn't have that self-confidence I once had. I felt really stressed, and I would eat a treat and felt like I needed to do another workout. And so I really just needed to find something that was a simple solution. And it was like, hey, this was presented to me from my sister because my sister had linked up with Lori, and I was like, I might as well try it. In the past, home workouts didn't work for me, but I was like, you know what? What am I going to lose, So all that to say, just by finding Beachbody, by finding this opportunity and reconnecting with Lori and starting my first program with her, it was like a huge game changer for me. Like, I finally knew how to feel my body, and my entire mindset changed when it came to working out. Like, I realized I didn't need to be at the gym for hours to get results. And with that being said, like the first year as a coach, as a discount coach, it was really just a personal journey for myself. And it wasn't probably until the past like 1.5 to 2 years that I really started tapping into the potential of seeing myself as a leader. And just side note, if you're sitting on this call right now and you're like, oh, that's really cool that she's a 2-star, or that she is, gaining all these coaches and growing her team. Like, that's really awesome for her that she's able to stay at home, or for Lori, making X amount of dollars. Like, you can do that too. You have to start seeing yourself as whatever goal that you have set in mind. Because if you have that limiting belief that it's so cool for other people to experience that, but it can't happen for you, that's not right. You have to start telling yourself that it is possible. You have to have that belief in yourself. Because if you don't, it's not just going to magically appear, you guys. That is something that was huge for me in my business. When I really started seeing myself as a leader, I just felt unstoppable. And I was like, you know what? Why would I not share this with other people? Why would I not post on social media? Why would I not do the vital behaviors? Like, why would I rob myself of the opportunity to be able to stay at home with our baby one day, to be able to leave my full-time job and make the income I'm making from that career? And so you have to start seeing yourself that way. And I feel like once you switch that mindset, it really helps you just like crack that shell and literally like bust through the ceiling that you have set for yourself in your business. So going into inviting, my first thing for you guys that I want to talk about is exposure. So social media is obviously huge with our business. That is how we are reaching to new clients. It's how we are growing our teams, and you're doing coach sneak peeks, whatever you're doing. But your social media, whether that's Instagram or Facebook, should be an immediate representation of you. I should be able to go on your profile and understand the 5 top things that make you who you are. Mom, married, loves coffee, loves Jesus, you're organized, you love food, and you love fitness. If you're just showing workout pictures, that's awesome. That's part of you, but you're not showing people everything that embodies you. If you had an outsider looking at your social media, would they be able to identify those things about you in your life? And you may be thinking, how in the world does this tie into inviting? But it really does. The reason that this is one of the most important topics that I'm going to touch on is because when you're going to send that invite, whether it's for coaching or for someone to join a fit camp, are they going to know what they're being invited to? I mean, if you're not sharing on your stories every single day about what you're doing in this lifestyle you're living, and you're not sharing your journey on social media, you're probably going to be really nervous when you go to invite somebody and they're going to be like, wait a second, what the heck is this fit camp? What is she talking about? I didn't even know that she worked out. And they're probably going to ghost you and be like, what in the world? You know? And I don't want that to happen for you, because I was the same way. Like, there was a point in time, especially during pregnancy, that I really didn't share that frequently because I just didn't know what to share. I didn't know what people were going to think. No one really was really in the same season of life that I was in, for being like a young mom. And it was hard. And maybe you're in a season of life that's similar and you're like, wait a second, I don't think people are going to relate with that. I'm really afraid to share about that. You have to start sharing all of your journey, the good, the bad, the ugly, the happy, the sad, all of it, because that's your life and you're bringing people in on this journey with you. You know, if you're not showing up, if you're not being consistent, if you're not sharing your story in this lifestyle that has changed your life in some way, shape, or form, you need to start like yesterday, because this is only going to benefit you. It's hard, it's scary, but that's how you build trust. By talking about things other than Beachbody, other than fitness. Like, you cannot plaster Beachbody all over your social media, because what's stopping somebody from going on and just typing in beachbody.com and getting a random coach, and then you reach back out 3 months later and they're like, oh, I already signed up for that. Like, you're losing out on that opportunity. And I really think that by building this trust and sharing about just things that you enjoy and the things that you do with your family and the food that you love and the clothing lines that you love, all that stuff, it's a way for you to engage with your followers and help them become like your friend, like you're letting them in on your life. And this is how you take that invite from being salesy to actually wanting to help them experience this same incredible transformation inside and out that you've had. You know, if you're sharing all of your life and you're sharing your lifestyle and people are engaging with you and you're talking about things that other than just fitness, like, what's going to stop them from responding to you and joining you? You know, you're giving them something else to talk to you about and you're relating with them. That is what you want to do with your social media. You want to be relatable, because if you're not showing up through those hard seasons, or people can't, you know, joke around with you or laugh or like talk to you about family stuff, then you're just there for fitness. And it's like that's great and all, but you want to build those friendships. You want to build that trust. So it's so crucial for you to do that. And in doing that, it's really going to help you find your voice and find your people. This is such an essential component of inviting, for the sole reason that every single one of us is different. We have different personalities, different methods, different systems, and what works for me may not work for you. What works for Lori may not work for Sarah. You know, if you're sitting there copying, pasting an invite that you heard from someone's YouTube training on how to invite, and you're struggling to get responses, maybe it's because you're not putting your voice, your fire, and your personality into it, right? If it's just like copy and paste, it seems very like scripted, then it probably is. You have to find the invite that works for you and that is going to help other people relate to you, and they're going to hear you behind that invite, because that's the most important thing to do. And that's how invites work. And invites look different for everybody. So I want to take a second to just pause and evaluate what your invite looks like. And if you're like, I don't even have one, don't worry, I have some examples of things that I've used in the past and some things that I do now. Sorry I can't see these comments, but voice message is amazing. Videos are amazing. You have so many cool features on Instagram, so you have to use them. But pausing and evaluating what your invites look like. Is your invite a few sentences long? Do you send a huge paragraph? Do you use Hey Girl, or do you insert their name to make it more personable? You know, does it seem scripted, or does it have you engraved into it? Can people hear your voice and hear your passion behind what you're doing through your invite? It doesn't have to be long to do that either. You know, an invite shouldn't take 10 minutes to create. You know, you have to make it simple. It's not hard. You know, once you get over like thinking about what people are going to think about you or say about you, like, who cares about that? Just, you know how this has changed your life. Don't rob somebody the opportunity to do it with you. And some of those invites can look like, you know, these are really quick ones, but hey, blank, I saw you've been keeping up with my stories. Hope you're getting some good tips or laughs from mom life. Not sure if you saw, but our Fit Camp for September is starting soon, and I'd love for you to join us. Could I send you over some info? First tip, always end with a question. If you are not ending with a question, you're doing your invite wrong. It gives them the opportunity to respond back to you and not just ignore that message. Another one. Hey blank, just wanted to pop in and say thank you for always supporting me in my journey. Not sure if you saw in my stories, but our fit camp is starting up and I know you love this. If I send you some info, would you check it out? And those are for fit camp invites. One for coaching could be like, hey blank, I wanted to reach out because you come to my mind when I think of ladies I want to work with. This is where you can put in something personal about them. I know you've always been into your health and wellness, and I know this would be an incredible opportunity for you. If I send you over a short video I made that shares more about what I do, would you watch it and let me know your thoughts? Looking forward to hearing back from you. Something as simple as that, guys. I'm not giving a ton of information. I am just very straight to the point. Hey, here's what I've got going on. Do you want to be a part of it? That's what works for me. You may be sitting there and you're like, heck no, I'm never going to send something like that. I know what I'm sending. I know it's working. And that's awesome. Keep doing it. But if you're struggling, you have to figure out what you want to say in that invite that's going to reel somebody in, it's going to pique their curiosity, and it's going to leave them wanting more information. And like I said at the beginning of the call, like when I first started this journey 3.5 years ago, like I wish I would have made it a priority to invite. I would have had so much more success and been so much more confident in this if I would have just followed that vital behavior. It's so, so crucial. We should be inviting every single day to this opportunity to not only join our fit camps, but to join our team. And it's your job as a coach to be sharing about those things daily. If you're not doing it already, you have got to start. You need to make it a priority to put that information out there. Utilize the polls, the chats, the question boxes. We have so many tools on social media for us to open the door to have these conversations. And it's a way for us to invite others to join without sending them some creepy, salesy, cold message. It's not what we're about. But if they see what you're doing and they see the impact it's having on your life and you go to reach out to them and grab their hand and you're like, hey, let's do this together, what's going to stop them? Social media literally makes it so much easier for us to have that conversation, but it requires you to act on it. You have to do the things you need to do to open up that door. If you don't put in the work, those conversations and invites, they mean nothing. And that sounds harsh, but it's true. Like our number one, like vital behavior is to be the product of the product. That's why you have to show up and you have to get out of your head and invite and make a list. I do this every single morning. I have paper and pen. I'm like very, very paper and pen. I put all this into Streak afterwards, but I make a list and I do 30 boot camp invites. I try to do like 12 to 15 coaching invites a day. If I send their info email, I have that there, but it's just so beneficial to sit down and do it. And if you're like, oh my gosh, that's really great, but I have like 200 followers, that's going to get me like to 2 weeks. You got to do the things to grow your following. It's such a crucial part of what we do. And you don't need 20,000 followers to be a successful coach. You really don't. You work with what you have and you continue to build on it. So 3 quick little takeaways. Be sure you're showing up with confidence on your social media. Build trust and build your Instagram as your portfolio or your resume. It's going to be so crucial for you to do that. The second thing is finding your voice. Find that invite or those few invites and follow-ups that are your jam. And know that what works for your coach, what works for me, what works for somebody else in this network may not work for you, and that's okay. But you have to find what works for you because ultimately this is your business and you run it the way that you want to. And you have to just go into it with confidence. Like, go do the dang thing, send the invites. Who cares what someone will think or say about you? It doesn't matter. You know why you're sending the invite. You know how this has changed your life, and you don't know the impact that your one message is going to have on someone else's life. If I sit back and I remember all the messages I've gotten with like before and after pictures, or my friends telling me they're off their depression medication and that they have been ever since they joined our group, like that is a firm reminder of like, hey, could I imagine if I never reached out to that person? Or what if I never shared my journey? They wouldn't be in that position that they're in today. And they did the work, but it's because I showed up too. And it's because I reached out, and it's because I got over my damn self and sent the invite. And I showed up. And guess what? They're showing up now too. and they're happier and they're healthier and they're better wives and they're better moms, they're better students, and they're freaking rocking it. And that is just like a firm reminder of like why I do what I do. It's why all of us do this. It's because it's had such an impact and played such a vital role in each one of our lives. And we are literally changing the trajectory of other people's lives just by showing up. So why in the world would you not send the invite? You got to just do it. It's so, so important. And that's what we do as coaches. And it's incredible that we like, it's just such a blessing that we get to call this a job, whether it's a side hustle or your full-time thing. Like, it's truly, truly amazing. So I really hope that helps you guys. I honestly, like, I say this to all my coaches, like if I would have known now what I knew, or if I would have knew then what I know now, I don't even know. Clearly I don't know. But seriously, I mean, it would have just been so incredible. So not that I regret any of that, but just learning from this, and it's a constant, it's a growing experience. It's a learning experience, and you guys have the tools that you need to find success with this, and we're a team. That's why we do this thing. So thank you so much for letting me talk tonight.
Thank you, Haley. I have to agree. Inviting is that one vital behavior that so many of us wish that we started doing more earlier. You know, it's just like our challengers. The one regret that they have is not starting sooner. The same thing with inviting. So before we go, I want to ask you a couple questions, Haley. What is your favorite personal development book for a new coach starting out?
I think you really have to sit back as a new coach and evaluate what your biggest struggle is. I think that for me, like, network marketing was something really new for me. So GoPro was an incredible book to read. I love 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but I think one of my most favorite books is High Performance Habits. It's a long one, but do it on Audible. It's a really, really helpful book. And I really, truly believe that, like, you know, and don't hate me for saying this, but like, just because everyone else and their mother is reading Rachel Hollis doesn't mean it's like the personal development that you first need to read. It's great. It's like my nighttime read. If I want to have something that's like, oh, helps me fall asleep and it's good and it like gets me excited. But when I'm reading for my business, that's when I choose those books on the things that I struggle with most. And that's leadership and mentorship and growing a team. And that's what I'm going to do my personal development on. So you really have to step back and evaluate what is the things that you need to put in your brain more, that you need to affirm yourself of, that you need to that you need to read in order to grow with your business.
All right. And the question I always like to close out with is, how has Beachbody changed your life?
Oh my gosh. Beachbody has changed my life in so many different ways. Like it really gave me such an outlet, especially after Knox was born, to just do something good for myself. You know, after you have a baby, and really it doesn't have to be having a baby, but in any season of life, you can like really struggle with like losing yourself. And I think after becoming a mom, we just give so much to our kids, and we are constantly giving so much to our spouses. And it's really easy to put ourselves on the back burner. And I realized that. And I mean, not only has Beachbody allowed me to stay at home with our baby and leave my full-time job, but it like showed me what I was capable of. And it showed me that I could be a leader and grow a team and help literally thousands of people change their lives. And it's been so incredible.
All right, Haley, thank you so much. I love how you're here and how we're connected and how this whole team, and there's so many people that are here for, you know, the craziest connections. Just think, like, you could have that person out there that you never thought that you would connect with again. And if you don't invite, then you'll never know. So take a lot of the tips that Haley said tonight and put them into action. Go right now and create your invites, your 3 to 4 sentence invites, your video that you're going to send, whatever it is. Go right now, open up a blank piece of paper and write it out and send some out tonight. Go send 10 out right now before you go to bed. I know it's scary for some, but you'll feel so good doing it.
Okay. I got a few questions in the thing I wanted to just touch on. I went back and read them. Sorry. I like don't know grammar clearly. Okay. When after making a connection do you invite? So whether that person is new to following me or I follow them from 531 and then they give me a follow back, I wait a few weeks, like probably almost a month, because I want them to see what I'm doing. I want them to see what this lifestyle is all about. And typically within that first month, they'll answer polls or they'll ask me questions or they'll hop in my DMs in some way, shape, or form. So I think it's up to the person. But I think about a couple weeks to a month is pretty good. How quickly do I contact the leads? I try and contact them as soon as I see their name, and I just send them a quick welcome email. It's pretty generic, but I let them know, hey, I'm your coach. I'm here to help you reach your goals. I'd love to get you connected into my support and accountability group. What program are you doing? If they ordered the workouts, letting them know that I'm just there for them to help them. 531, it takes time, guys. It really does. And it's something that if you do it every single day, you'll start finding your tribe, finding your niche, and finding those new people to connect with.
I think there was a question about the info that you send when they do say yes. I'll look at it.
So when I go through and talk to them about this, my conversation, I don't like word vomit and send them all the information on Instagram. I grab their email within the first 3 to 4 exchanges of messages. Not only is it better for myself to have it, because then I have their email in case something went down with Instagram or I lost their messages or whatever. Then I send them over an email and it talks about what they get when they join my group, what the accountability groups are for, what the different packages are. Like right now I was doing one for Morning Meltdown, and it was like 3 different options, and I let them know exactly what they get in each one of those options. That's pretty much it. But they know everything about our groups and the programs just from that email, and it's not super lengthy. It's pretty straight to the point. What if you know people who already have coaches but aren't active right now? I don't know. I guess it's up to the person. But I mean, if they're your friends, I always ask if they know their coach, if they have a relationship with their coach. But I do say, I don't want to step on any toes. If you're comfortable and you want me to be your coach, I'd love to get you started. Fill out this coach change form, or I can do it for you. I don't really think that that's stealing if they're not active. If their coach is not, they don't have a relationship with their coach, then, you can build that relationship, or maybe you already have that relationship because they're your friend and you truly want to help them. So I don't think that that's stealing at all.
And also, if you know someone that's done a Beachbody program, they have a coach, even if they say they don't, they have one. I had one, I didn't know. And that's when you do that coach change immediately. You ask them, what workout are you doing? You're doing that DVD from home? Oh, P90X, you have a coach. Even if they say that they didn't or they don't. But yeah, I think what Haley said is perfectly fine. If their coach ran a group and then they ghosted for a year, how do they feel? Are they getting the support from that coach? It's totally up to them to do the coach change. It's all about helping the person. And that coach would probably be okay with it because they're not helping them anymore. They're not doing anything. So just put it out there. Like Haley said, just talk them through it, ask them, and, let it be up to them. But I don't think there's anything else in there, just that you were on fire. Yeah. And if you plug in their info and share card, oh yeah, it'll show up. That's right. If they have an account and have a coach, that's right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Haley. If everybody wants to smile so Haley can take a picture. And if you want to take a picture of you on an awesome team call like this and share it on your stories, because that's what this is about. It's about the community. It's about what we get to do together weekly, daily in the virtual gym. If you're not in there, some of us think it's only at 5 a.m. I was in there at 8 today, and there were some ladies in there. I've been late today this week since school started. So get in there, get your challengers in there, and that's it. Thanks, Haley.
Thanks, Haley.